guys, so what we're gonna do is kind of share, another question a lot of people have is, how do I dispo my deal? How do I sell my deal to a cash buyer? Which, telling you acquisitions is way easier than this. If I have one sentence, how do I sell a deal? Just talk to somebody that has buyers in the room and then boom, you're done. You don't have to worry about it, right? So like, if I have a deal in Louisiana, I'm just gonna, hey Aaron, can you help me out? Boom, done. Like one sentence, dispo, that's it. But let's kind of show how you do it yourself, right? So what is dispositions? How do I sell a deal to a cash buyer? People really overcomplicate this. They make it a whole crazy system. Cash buyers are customers and we have the product. And if the product's good, they want to buy. Now, the worst issue people have is they try to sell a crappy product. You don't want to do that. You want to sell something good and easy, right? So one thing is if you're like the best example I give to these are like, if you're like a crazy sneakerhead. So who here likes sneakers, like a big sneakerhead type guy? Okay, so we got some people here, right? So like, there's a couple of these like collabs, right? You know, like when Yeezys come out, like, oh my gosh, everyone buys them up like Yeezy, like crazy, right? And is it because Kanye is like the best salesman of all time? Or is it because the demand's just so high and the product's, quote, so good? It's the product's so good, right? And the thing is, if our contracts are at such an enticing price, it's gonna be gangbusters. It's gonna be sold like that. And so what I found, a lot of people that struggle with selling their deal, it's either they lock it up too high or they just don't have enough buyers. It's one or the other. So when everyone says they can't sell a deal, it's like, well, do you have it locked up for too high? We can fix that. Or have you not talked to enough buyers? And if you're like, well, I'm in an area, there's only 2,000 people living in there, like, oh, you just don't have enough buyers. So basically we're talking about dispositions, right? So this is the art of selling a deal. This is the process of selling a real estate contract to a cash buyer, which is basically gonna be a rich landlord or house flipper. That is who we're dealing with. So this is basically my dispositions process for wholesaling real estate. Number one, we find cash buyers, we add them to our list, we send the deal to them, we walk them to the property, we get it assigned. That is our process for dispositions. On top of this too, we then follow up with the seller, follow up with the buyer, and go to the title for closing. It's not really that complicated. So again, what is a cash buyer? Again, a cash buyer is somebody who's going to buy our deal or a contract for cash. Pretty simple. That's why they're called cash buyer. Did I say hard money buyer? Did I say private money buyer? Or did I say cash buyer? Cash. So if someone says, oh, well, this guy, he's a cash buyer, but he's gonna take a loan out to buy the house, not a cash buyer. They have to get approval, not a good deal. Then on top of this too, when they buy it, they're either gonna do two things. A cash buyer is a cash buyer if they buy it out to rent it out, or they buy it out to flip it for a profit. That is it. They have incentive and they're gonna go. For example, again, if I lock up a deal for $100,000 and then I go out here and sell the deal to said cash buyer for 120 grand, I get $20,000 assignment fee. I think a lot of people get really confused how this process works. I lock it up for 100, sell to a cash buyer for 120. 120,000 actually gets sent to the title company. Title company gives the seller the 100 grand that we agreed on. We get our nice check for $20,000. So technically, the title pays us and the buyers pay us. So that is how this works. Now, I've dealt with a lot of cash buyers. I do a lot of JV deals. I do a lot of virtual deals, in-person deals, and throughout any market, there are about 4 or 5 different type of buyers. The worst buyer you can possibly deal with is who I call the slumlords. These are guys that buy 50, 60, 70 houses a year. I know it seems like, oh, those people don't exist. They exist. They're crazy. And they're like the old guys from the 30s, like Mr. Moneybags, and they just buy houses for dirt cheap, and usually the roughest houses. I can call them Section 8 buyers, but they buy the roughest of the rough houses, and they buy a lot. They will pay you the least for a deal. Next here's who I call the high-level flippers. These are people that flip 20, 30 properties a year, maybe a little even more. So I would probably put myself in that category. I think slumlords are guys that are mostly landlords, but I would call myself a high-level flipper, right? I flip a lot of houses, but I'm not a flipper. And the problem is I know my numbers well, and I'm not buying a bad deal. And I want to make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 on a flip. So you could sell to them, you're not going to make the most. Now, who I think you guys should be dealing with are who we call medium level flippers. So these are guys flipping 5, 10 deals a deal. Maybe they buy one house every other month or one house a month. Those are really where you should be going after. Those are who we call medium level flippers. Now what you're going to find is the less homes you buy, you're willing to make less profit. And so it's kind of funny, you think it's the other way around, but really, the less houses they buy, the better for you. And then my favorite is who I call mom and pop flippers. They do this on the side. They have a full-time job and they just want to buy a house, get in the house flipping game. They're great. They'll pay the most. If they can make, if I buy the house for $100,000, put on the market for $130,000, and I make $20,000, that's a 20% ROI in 3 months. Whoa, they're so happy. Versus the high-level flipper wants to buy this thing for $90,000 because they're crazy. And then my personal absolute favorite buyers are who I call the fresh out of the seminar flippers. So there's a lot less common now, but there's these seminars that teach you how to flip real estate or buy houses and sell them for a profit. They pay the most. They are the most uneducated buyer, not trying to be mean, but it's true. And they just want to get in the game. They don't care the price, they just want to get in the game. And this is better than any deal they buy on the MLS because these fresh out of the seminar flippers think they're pulling a fast one on you because they're taught, buy a house on the MLS, flip it, then make the profit there. They're like, wait, you can go off market? They're gonna basically pay you what the MLS pays you for cash, but like a little bit of a discount because there's no realtor and they think they're smoking you. They're making 20 grand, they're so happy. So the question is, how do I find these fresh out of the seminar flippers? My favorite way is through networking, Facebook. Heck, I like to go in some of these groups. I'm not going to mention any names, but you go out here, make a fortune, and you can just figure out who follows those type of people, and that's how you do it. So how do you find these type of buyers, right? Number one, Zillow for rents is probably one of my classic, I have no money, how do I find a buyer? Because the average landlord, when they rent out a property and they're cheap, just being honest, either they go to a realtor, list it for rent, boom, which is good. One thing you can do is if you go on the MLS on the for rents and a realtor lists a house for rent, just go to the property appraiser, see who owns it, cyber background checks, call the guy up. That is a tried and true way to find a good buyer there. But what I like to do is try to find a do-it-yourselfer type guy. He makes the decisions, he needs no dang realtor, he's the guy. They'll list the house for rent on Zillow by themselves. And the guy owns the house by himself too. So he might be like Juan Santos, lists it for rent with his phone number. Call him up, say, hey, this is Zach. I'm actually not looking to rent out your property. Just seeing to see if you're looking to buy any more rentals in there. My name's Zach, I'm actually a wholesaler, looking to see if you're looking to buy any more. I just got a deal locked up like a street over. Oh wow, yeah, I'd love to buy another rental across the street. One thing landlords love more than anything versus getting a good deal is buying rentals next to each other. It is their favorite thing in the world. And they usually overpay. I overpay for my rentals if it's on the same street. It's like a combo package, it's amazing. Next here are Facebook groups. Facebook groups are probably one of the best ways to find buyers because that's the first thing any guy on Facebook does. They join their local Facebook group because for the networking and everything like that. And you can just DM them, say, hey, looking to buy any more rentals, looking to buy any more flips. These are mostly flippers. Now, you are gonna have scammers in this. That is a problem. And we're gonna have to deal with it today on how to deal with the scammers. People pretending to be buyers, trying to JV the JV, not the best. Again, you can cold call cash sales. You literally get a list of people buying houses for cash, cold call them. It's good. It turns into some marketing though. It's not as fun to do. Next here, auctions. So one thing I like to do is, Florida's really big on this, the Southeast, is every weekend there's usually 1-2 property auctions. Heck, here in Orlando, I think I saw a couple listed for Saturday, that they'll just auction off multifamily properties. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so what they do is, okay, this duplex is gonna be auctioned off, and there's gonna be 50 guys coming in there bidding on the property. And the funny thing about that is, when you actually go see it, 50 guys write their name on a chalkboard or whatever the whiteboard is, they get their bid number, and they start bidding on the property. Now, there's gonna be 50 guys there. What you need to do is find the guy that raises his 50 grand, 150, 200, 250. Find the guy that raised his hand and they say 300, sold. And you're gonna find 10 guys are sad that they can't buy anymore. They can't buy the house for cash, and one guy's happy. What you need to do is contact all of them while they're walking, like moping all sad. Like, hey, I'm so sorry you couldn't buy that house for cash. I know you just have 250 grand burning in your pocket. I actually got a property under contract. Maybe you wanna buy it. No auction. He's gonna be like, he's gonna hate auctions, right? And the guy that won the bid, he overpaid. So he's a good guy to be talking to. Property auctions are amazing. maybe 1 a month, 2 a month, but they're great. Again, local RIAs are good too. Are they the best? Probably not. I mean, they're still here. This is more old school stuff. RIAs are becoming less of a thing, but you can still find some good cash buyers. I like the old school guy, 55, 60 years. How you know a guy's old school is the first thing they tell you is how many years they've been in real estate. Now, a lot of people that don't do real estate deals, they also say that too, so you gotta be very careful. But if a guy comes and says, I've been doing real estate for 27 years, you know they might own a lot of rentals. 6 is networking. Knowing people who actually have buyers is a good one. 7 are hedge funds. This used to be like the hottest thing 1 to 2 years ago, and interest rates were basically 1%, 2%. Interest rates are slowly going down, so we're gonna see probably a year from now hedge funds get a little better. Hedge funds aren't a big secret. Because we have software that shows us companies and corporations that own 1, 2, 3,000 rentals, it's not that bad. One secret I give to everyone is this hedge fund. It's like a very specific hedge fund that love Southeast United States homes that buy from wholesalers. They actually have a wholesaler portal. It's called SFR3 LLC. They're getting a little tougher to buy, but in a year from now, they're probably gonna start buying like crazy. Their criteria is crazy now, but SFR3 space LLC, they actually have a portal. You just send in the address you have under contract, their acquisitions guy calls you, and they give you an offer. It's pretty low right now, but when interest rates get smaller and smaller, it'd be good. Now, wholesaling has come to the mainstream now where hedge funds know about it. 8, real estate agents. I cannot stress this enough. I love real estate agents because they're struggling right now. Buyer's agents are struggling more than ever with these new regulations, and one of my favorite things to do is go to a realtor and just basically say, hey, you know, the average house, what, 100 grand? They get 3%, what is that, 3 grand? Does anybody here know? Raise your hand if you're a realtor. Cool. What do realtors only care about usually? 95% of them. Commission, that's all they care about. Now, not you guys are great. But I say this in the nicest way possible, but most realtors only care about commission. Now, you can stand up with your little R badge and say, oh, we're fiduciaries, we only care about the client. No, you don't. I'm not saying you're doing this, but you know back in the day, realtors would scroll by and be like, 2.5, no. 2%, no. 2%, no. 3%, you should buy this house. And I can argue with anybody on this, but the average realtor, if it's a $100,000 house, they make 3 grand. And they'll present it to the client and be like, yeah, you can buy this one. But if I go to the realtor and say, hey, I will give you $15,000 if they buy it for 140 grand. 40 grand over the 100 grand. That realtor will go to the client, and I kid you not, and say, Jordan Belfort, this is the deal of a lifetime. You are gonna go out here and make so much money. And they do all the work for me, and they end up doing it. And is it illegal? No, so they're okay with it. I know it sounds a little shiesty, I know it sounds a little bad to say, but I promise you, these buyer's agents are struggling right now. They are struggling because they have to get agreements with the buyer now. They have to go and call the sellers, the listing agent says, what's the buyer's agreement with the listing? Like, do I get paid? How much is it for? It's all about commission. It's all about commission. So if you can offer the real estate agent a stupid amount out of your pocket, but you make the price crazy, you're good to go. That is one of the biggest secrets right now, and I love doing that. One secret too with real estate agents is, so I'm in Port St. Lucie, which is like an hour and a half north of Miami. I think I said this the other day, but like there's a lot of these rich Miami guys that just make a stupid amount of money. And they come from like Colombia, Venezuela, Central America, but like they own a lot of real estate. Some oil guys in Venezuela too. And basically, they're just used to buying property in Miami. And they're like, wait, there's these houses I can get for rentals and they're only 200 grand. And they overpay everything. They're great to do. So I love real estate agents. They're a great way to find buyers. And number 9 is title companies. Think about this. I've been telling everyone to talk to wholesaling friendly title companies. If you're in a good area, I like Atlanta a lot too. Atlanta it's an attorney state. So technically not a title company, but there are certain attorneys in Atlanta that will do 30, 40 wholesale transactions a month. If you go to this guy and say, hey, I have a deal locked up and I would love to get you paid, but I can't find a buyer. I know you just closed with 40 different buyers last month. Could you reach out to them and see if they're looking to buy any more? That guy already closed with them. He's pretty vetted. You don't have to worry about the vetting process. It's pretty good. So title companies, same thing works with them too. Closing attorneys, and then of course, X leads. You can just go out here, put the info in, boom, buyers pop up, pretty easy. I think I showed Desiree the new beta thing on it. It's pretty dang cool. But it's pretty important. Now, I have 2 rules with cash buyers. Quality over quantity. Very, very important. It's better to have 10 good buyers than, who here's got a message from someone on Facebook says, I have 4,000 buyers. So annoying. So guys, I can remember names pretty well. I can't remember 4,000. If you have 10 good buyers, you can make $1-2 million. You don't have any problem with that. So quality is going to be better than any quantity out here. Now, on top of this too, cash buyers must be qualified. Cannot stress this enough. Who here has said in their mind that a buyer fell through and it was not really a real buyer? You know, guys, we've had some of them, right? Whenever somebody tells me that a buyer fell through or it was a fake buyer, I got swindled, it's all on you. It's not on anybody else. If you got swindled from somebody pretending to be a real buyer, it's kind of all your fault here. The reason because of this is a real buyer, you can't really fake it. If somebody asks me, Zach, prove you own 3 rentals, I can give them the address and show them the deed and I personally signed it. You can't really fake a deed. You're kind of breaking the law there. So it's really hard to get swindled if you ask the right things. Now, Facebook groups are probably one of the fastest ways to find a buyer. So one thing I'll tell everyone on here, and remember, you're in school, so you can hop on a Zoom with me, 4 Zooms every single week. And if you need help, I'll show you this. Now, I'm not going to pick on anyone, but there's certain individuals in here that hop on every Zoom, and ones that don't hop on every Zoom. I'll tell you the ones that hop on most Zooms end up making more money than the ones that don't hop on the Zooms and talk to me. So just FYI. But basically, if you go to Facebook, go to any real estate investing group for your city, go to the search tab, just search cash buyers, and you're going to find a bunch of posts. This guy says, where are my buyers at? And you're going to go in the comment section, and this guy, oh, I'm buying houses. Okay, yeah, they're technically doing it, but are they? I don't know. What you got to do is vet them from there, but you can just DM them and go from there. Heck, you can make a post, and in freeholding.com we have this, and just basically saying, hey, drop your email if you're looking to buy a property for a deep discount. Pretty simple to do. You can cold call real estate agents. One of my favorite things to do is go to the MLS. You can go to realtor.com, redfin.com, and the one thing you can do here is go out here and just go to the sales, go to properties sold under 100 grand, and just call the buyer's agent. It says buyer's agent on there. X-Leads has that too, and then just explain to a wholesaler, seeing if you have any buyers looking to buy any properties, and I would love to get you paid. Remember, if you don't start with them getting paid, the realtor, they are not going to hear from you. Buyers agents are starving now, I'm telling you. They need your help. Now, on top of that too, you can call their buyer up, give them the pictures of the house, and see if it works for them or not. Now, this is after they're qualified, but once you get a deal under contract, ask them, here's the pictures of the house, here's the address, does this work or not? No crazy salesmanship, right? You're selling shoes. Here's the shoe, do you want it or do you not? We are not here to sell them. Oh, the leather, the stitching is so, here's the shoe, do you want it or not? And if you have to sell them, it's not a good deal. So call them up and basically saying, is this property good for you or not? And get the thing sold. That is how you do your walkthroughs. Now, if they're good on the price, set them up. Say, hey, when's a good time for us to go by and see the property? And then you call the seller up and be like, hey, my partner and I are going to go by and look at the house. Set a time up with the seller, you and the buyer, to go out here and see the property. Now, you're going to present to the seller that this cash buyer is your partner. They are your partner in this transaction, right? Present to the seller that your partner's going to walk through and both of you guys are going to see the house. Now, present to the buyer, hey, you're coming through the house. You're not talking to the seller. I'm talking to the seller. You're just going through. If they don't agree to this, they're going to try to swindle your deal. And it's not scary, but you don't want to deal with them. So what I'm telling everyone here is present to the seller that me and my partner are coming by the house. What's a good time? Present to the buyer. Hey, Mr. Buyer, just walk to the house. Let me know the price. And then from there, we can meet at Starbucks, tower company, or whatever, and get the thing signed. You do not want the cash buyer to go out here and sign an assignment in front of the seller. That is a terrible idea. So once they're good at the price, meet at a secondary location and sign the assignment of contract. In person is always best. Now, when somebody tells me that, hey, I'm a cash buyer, I go through this qualifying process. This is my process to figure out if somebody's fake or not. It has an insane accuracy. Number one, are you looking to buy any more houses for flipping or renting? If the answer is no, you don't want to deal with them. Oh, I'm not gonna rent it out, I'm not gonna sell it. It's actually gonna be a group home for, okay, no. We're not dealing with you. Have you ever bought a deal from a wholesaler before? Pretty simple. If they have, great. What wholesaler? Maybe you can reach out and say, hey, I was talking to John Santos and he was just seeing if you're looking to buy any more. Oh, that guy, oh, he screwed me, right? It's pretty important. You can actually you can basically kind of use them and see if they're legit or not. But ask them if they bought a deal from a wholesaler before. If they have not bought a deal from a wholesaler before, little red flag, nothing terrible. Now, the most important question. Hey, Mr. Cash Buyer, are you okay if I make $90,000 on this deal? Well, the deal's locked up for 100. Well, are you okay if I make $90,000 on this deal? Theoretically, I'm not gonna make 90 grand. This is what I say, I'm not gonna make 90 grand on this, but what if I was going to? Would you be okay with that? No, I would not be okay with you doing that. What are they gonna say? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so if I just give you the price, are you okay with the price? The thing I do that is I say that, and then I end up making 60. And they're like, well, it's not 90, so they don't get too upset. But I just basically say that to see if they're okay with it. Next year's proof of funds, I'm kind of changing this a little more. Proof of funds used to be like the panacea, the cure-all for figuring out if someone's legit or not. Any Joe Schmo can fake a proof of funds now. If AI create your own proof of funds, it's pretty stupid. So what I do is just basically I go on deal volume. So ever since people have been faking proof of funds, just ask them this one question. Okay, you can fake a proof of funds, but can you give me the address of the last 5 properties you bought for cash? Once you start hearing that, well, that's private information. How's that private? It's public. Like the one thing you'll find is if you hard press me and say, Zach, can you name one house you own as a rental property? And if I go out here and start shaking and tell you that's private, come on. So go out here and just ask. Can I get address the last 2 houses you own for cash? If they can't show you one, it's probably a guru trained guy, or maybe it's his first time, he's in a new program. You're never gonna know. So just ask. And if they do it and says, well, Zach Ginn's the owner, you know Zach Ginn's the guy teaching him how to do this, and he's not really gonna buy your house. I see a lot of people lose out on this situation. So again, cold call for Zillow, for rent. Number 1, if you're calling these for rents, hey, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? And then again, hey, this is Zach, I'm actually not looking to rent out your house, but I'm a wholesale company and I'm looking to see if you're looking to buy any more rentals in the area. And maybe say I have a deal locked up, you're looking to buy any more properties for cash. If yes, proceed to let them know that your partner will be reaching out to them later today. Ask if this is the best number to reach them out, put them in the CRM and put them on your buyer's list to further qualify. Pretty important here. And then for cash sales, again, is this the owner of 123 Main Street? Hey, I just saw you purchase that house for cash. Just seeing if you're looking to buy any more in the area for cash. I'm a wholesaler, just got a deal locked up near you. That's it. We have multiple deals we'd like to sell. Boom, simple as that. Then proceed, put them in the CRM. Now, if you use XLeads, it's another pretty simple process. You can basically go out here inside of XLeads, put a zip code, put a city, put an area, and then from there, it's the same as any $40,000 a year dispo software. Post your deals, find the numbers, blast the deal, 5 minutes, find it. One thing I'm telling you is this is not like a hard pitch, go get XLeads. But what I would probably do is be like, hey, Jose, I know you have XLeads. Can you help me post a deal and take like 10%? I think you would do that, right? So there's a lot of people in here that do have XLeads. You don't need to get it. Just know somebody that has it and they can basically do it for you. That's the best way I can do it. So under 5 minutes, get the deal sold pretty quick. And then again, to find a wholesaling title company, again, that's I think a big problem I think people have. Just go out here and call all the title companies in the city if you want to be crazy. My personal favorite thing to do is be like, okay, well, I'm in this area, who to use for title? And I will tell you, right? I was telling area, basically, like we both came to the conclusion it's the best title company in New Hampshire, right? But, oh, there you are. But like, if you're in New Hampshire, like, hey, who's the best title company? I don't think he's scared to tell you. It's not like he gets a commission for hoarding the best title company. So basically, he'll tell you, right? He's not scared. Go to the Discord. Hey, who's a great title company here? They'll tell you. Go in the Facebook groups and ask. Go to the live stream comments. Go anywhere. They will tell you. There's millions of people across everyone that follows me. Somebody in there is going to do it. And it's not like it's my people. It's everyone. It's for the people, right? Again, when you find a title company, just ask them, hey, do you do double closings? Do you do assignments? How many assignments do you do a month? Everyone will tell you, hey, we do assignments, but you'd be the first assignment we've done in the past year. Wrong title company. And then again, ask, who's my point of contact going to be? But that's Dispo 101 really quick. If anybody has any cash buyer dispositions questions, I'd love to answer them right now. If not, talk with Jason. So Chip, what's going on? Second Chip, actually. You know there's another Chip? So, kind of crazy. Yeah. Yeah, so we tell the seller, hey, we pay for closing costs, but really the buyer is going to be paying for the closing costs. Now, you don't want a crazy one, but not really going to be your problem. And a bad title company, I know this is crazy to say, they will call this, I've had this before, they will call the seller and say, hey, do you know Zach's making $30,000 assignment fee? Are you okay with this? It's not illegal for somebody to make, you don't have to call them to let them know, but some title companies feel like in my heart, I need to let them know. So, but like, hey, Mr. Did you know there's $4,000 of doc stamps? Are you okay with that? They don't do that because the seller will be like, what's a doc stamp? Like, it's crazy, but they're not even being charged for it, so that you get a good wholesaling title company. With homeowners insurance? Yeah, the most basic way I can explain title insurance is if the chain of title is wrong on a property. So let's say John Doe died and it got quit claim to Mary Sue, but Mary Sue never really was an heir to the property. She kind of forged the deed and she technically stole the property. And now the son comes from a coma and he wakes up and says, she's not my sister, she's faking it. I'm the owner, but Mary Sue sold it to David for 500 grand. Well, hey David, you're out 500 grand, buddy. You're screwed because you got swindled by her, not your problem. It's going back to him on a lawsuit. He'd be out 500 grand, which when people buy a house, that's pretty much all their money. Not saying it's all David's money, but like if someone did that, they'd be royally screwed. So basically, you're insuring the title. So if title gets screwed up, there's an insurance policy David has with the title company. It's one of 3 insurance companies where he'll get his $500,000 back, so he doesn't get screwed on that. Because people can quit claim deeds and sell it. It's basically like if somebody stole a car and they sell you the car. Sometimes if you kind of do it under the table, you're screwed. People do with houses. It's kind of weird. But I wish I could tell you it's like a little thing. Every single month, somebody gets arrested for forging a deed. It's a real thing. So the buyer buys the title insurance. The seller has to, quote, furnish the title insurance, which means they have to give clean title. So that's the problem. It has to go, and then the title company kind of underwrites it, make sure that the title is clean. Sometimes it gets really messy, but it's for insurance.
Zach, quick question. Let's say a house is going to trade at like an ARV of like 500,000, but like it has, let's say, a warranty deed versus a quit claim deed. Would the warranty deed like give it a premium because the house is with the warranty versus the quit claim deed? Like quit claim deed would be like another reason to offer a discount?
No, there's gonna be no difference. I don't like quit claim deeds because usually title's not given to that. It's not a clean title. If you sell it, the title company is gonna have to clean up the chain of title and then furnish it with insurance, title insurance.
Okay, so it's more work for the title company.
And more expensive.
More expensive to close the quit claim deed.
Yeah, but like if a seller quit claims the deed to another person and that person is part of the chain of title, I'm not gonna pay any more or less. I'm not dumb, but like basically say like, it's not really my problem, that's title company. If title company will give insurance to the buyer, I don't really care. Okay. And so, I mean, not me, but Rick's been on the, on the bad end of a couple of lawsuits with people forging signatures and things like that, but his assignment fee is protected because it's part of the insurance. So he's good to go. Any other questions real quick? Isabel.
When a cash buyer, you find a cash buyer and they ask you, well, how much do you pay for it? They want to know versus what you're asking them to pay for. Do you tell them that you?
Well, I'm still in negotiations with the seller. I mean, it could be for $0. It could be, is it okay if it's for $1? Would you have a problem with that?
And if they press you,
I locked it up for $1. Well, I'm trying to lock it up for $1. Is that okay with you? If I sell it to you for 150 grand, I make $149,000, 999. Is that okay with you? Well, you shouldn't buy it for that low. Oh, well, okay, I buy.
And then the other thing is, so like the seller, we agree on this price.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna get this. After title, will my seller see how much I made on it?
If you double close,
No, otherwise his HUD is only the first and second page.
it depends. Sometimes there's things called blind HUDs, just kind of hide it. Usually it's on there, but they just don't, like it. It's there. What are they going to do? No. They're usually packed up. They're already in the new house. Like, hey, I agreed 100 grand. I'm getting 100 grand back. Usually it's in there, but it's never a big deal. Now, I got some people that really are sticklers for this. Like, what's this assignment fee? What's this $30,000 assignment fee? And what I usually say, I've been at a closing table with, let's call it an analytical lady, and she has her reading glasses and a notepad, and she's like, what's this $30,000 assignment fee to Zach Ginn LLC? And I'm sweating their bullets. And I've told everyone, innovation comes from necessity, right? And 30,000 on the spot, I have to say something to save myself. And what I came up with, which, this is bad to say, but I basically said, well, when people buy rentals, they don't buy it all under one company. You don't own a rental, and one LLC doesn't own 1,000 rentals. Each LLC owns property, and she kind of knew that, right? You buy an LLC in a property, and that's owned by, again, a bigger corporation. So what we did here was we moved it from the acquisitions company over to the new rental company that is going to own it. Now, the rental company will be whatever we named it. What we'd like to do is, if it's 123 Main Street, we named it the 123 Main Street Trust. I'm not going to go pay $300 to create 123 Main Street Trust and then you say, Isabel, can I buy your house for 123 Main Street? I created a company just for you. No, you lock it up, you create the company, then you assign it over. What I found out was this is how D.R. Horton, these billion-dollar corporations do it. They have an acquisitions company, and then when they build the development, they assign it over to the development, then they sell the development. So D.R. Horton, for billions and billions of dollars, wholesales houses. They usually do it for $0 or $1. We did it for 30 grand just to move funds over.
So in essence, you basically gave her the idea that this is some sort of a selling or
No, so what I did was when I started.
She didn't see it as you just got this whole check on top of what she got. She saw it as.
I'm just making 30 grand, what's going on? But I explained it to her because when I started closing on my own rentals that were wholesales, if it was 463 40th Ave, I would put it under my wholesale company, and then I would create the 467th Ave trust, assign it over for like $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, and that's what I would do. And I'm like,
That's a portion of the equity that you're putting in.
just short for the marketing expenses. And from there, it's like, I'm not lying, because I ended up starting to do that, so I felt lying, but I wasn't lying, so that's the best way I explain it on that situation.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
So if I'm doing a double closing, I'm always, me personally, I would always get owner's title insurance. Is that a good idea or a waste of money? I feel like it's a safe idea.
I mean, there's always I think it's a good idea because there's always the risk the buyer backs out. You're stuck owning the house and the person screwed you and then you're out $200-300 grand, right? And so I look at what is the risk for not having the insurance? You lose everything. What's the reward? You save $2 grand. Not worth it. So that's cash buyers, that's dispositions, and that's basically how to do it. And if you have any questions, just hit me up. I'm always here. Bye.